If you're thinking about joining the David Pakman Show, he's got a lot of content, don't you know? Search a subject, but don't forget to add his name at the end of the subject. He'll hit you with some facts, empirical at that. And once or twice a week, he'll mention about his gardens. Pretty good garden, you know, but it's not for everyone. You should also know that there is a bonus show. Producer Pat will give his take, which is a pretty decent perspective. Pat knows what he's talking about. If you're thinking about joining the David Pakman Show, he's got lots of content, don't you know? Search a subject, but don't forget to add his name at the end of the subject. If you're thinking about joining the David Pakman Show, he's got lots of content, don't you know? Search a subject, but don't forget to add his name at the end of the search criteria.
Moment of the sexual experience will ask the young lady, who's your daddy?
This should be remixed. If Officer Akimov is watching, this could be the next remix masterpiece, because just wait till you see what happens here. Oh, Officer Akimov is here. That's beautiful.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy?
I'm joined today by Pastor James David Manning.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
No, I'm a Christian.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy?
I'm joined today by Pastor James David Manning.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
A long-legged Mac Daddy is the most successful pimp on planet Earth. To reverence the word of God, to trust it, to preach it, to teach it. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies.
What happened in prison that brought you to Jesus? What happened in prison that brought you to Jesus?
George Bush Sr. and George Bush Jr. have been penetrated by at least 100 men in their anus area. 100,000, 200,000 strong. I didn't do it. That's not my problem. Well, I got down on my knees. I didn't do it, but I was tempted.
Sounds like quite an evening.
Loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies.
Beta male. Everything you're doing is wrong. It's amazing. Beta! Beta! Beta girl! I have with me David Pakman. He is a progressive host and executive producer of the nationally syndicated radio and TV program, The David Pakman Show. And I wanted to talk to David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. Some beta males. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. Some beta males.
Can you remind the audience, when you talk about being a beta male and being an alpha male, what are we talking about here?
Sir, I think you do it very well.
There are males most men today,
Yeah.
male, they think and act like a woman. They're emotional. They are mentally off. They have no logic. And that's a beta male. They go along with homosexuality.
Hold on, whoa, Jesse, whoa, we got it. That's a lot.
LGBTQ.
That's a lot. Hold
They
on.
agree with everything that's raw. Abortion, they think and act just like a woman. A beta male does. But a non-beta male doesn't, because he's a logical thinking. And they're controlled by the darkness of David Patman. He is a beta male. David Patman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Patman. He is a beta male. David Patman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Patman. He is a beta male. David Patman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Patman. He is a beta male. David Patman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David, you're not here to communicate. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to let you go. It's a waste of time to talk to you. We're not communicating. You're acting like an idiot.
Because you're asking bizarre questions
You're
and not
acting
answering
like an
any of them.
idiot, and you're wasting my time. I
It's
appreciate
an ad
you
hominem.
coming. All right, thank
It's an
you
ad
for
hominem,
coming.
so you know
Goodbye. Goodbye. Let him know. That's a progressive vote. All men who are progressive, or males who are progressive, are weak people. They are weak people.
All right, welcome everybody. What a day. It's great to have like a catch-up day. I just had a bunch of stuff to go through, but we actually have a bunch of news to talk about as well. I'm back in the studio. It's been great to be on the road, but it's great to be back. It's all great, I guess, is the way that I would say it. We've got voicemails, we have unbanned requests, we have news, we have some important announcements, and I will take phone calls today. I have been unable to for a little bit, but I will take phone calls today. If we get to our 100-member goal, we will get the Discord lines wide open, and it's going to be something else. It's going to be something else. So where to even start? Let's start with the big news. The Haitian president has been assassinated in his home. This is an insane story. This is from the Associated Press in Port-au-Prince. A squad of gunmen assassinated Haitian President Jovenel Moïse and wounded his wife in an overnight raid on their home Wednesday, inflicting more chaos in the Caribbean country that was already enduring gang violence, soaring inflation, and protests of his increasingly authoritarian rule. Interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph, who confirmed the killing, said the police and military were in control of security in Haiti, the poorest country in the Americas, where a history of dictatorship and political upheaval have long stymied the consolidation of democratic rule. In an interview with the AP, Joseph called for an international investigation into the assassination, said the election scheduled for later this year should be held, and pledged to work with Moïse's allies and opponents alike. Quote, "We need every single one to move the country forward." He alluded to enemies of the president, describing him as a man of courage who would oppose some oligarchs in the country, and we believe those things are not without consequences. There was confusion about who should take control and widespread anxiety among Haitians. Authorities declared a state of siege and closed the international airport. The normally bustling streets of the capital, Port-au-Prince, were empty and quiet. Sporadic gunshots were heard in the distance. Now, a couple of important details that I want to go over here. Bochit Edmond, the Haitian ambassador to the U.S., said the attack on the 53-year-old was carried out by foreign mercenaries and professional killers, well orchestrated, and that they were masquerading as agents of the U.S. DEA. The DEA has an office in Port-au-Prince to help encounter narcotics. So, listen, it's so early, we don't know what's going on yet, okay? But very quickly, that has been taken by some to mean the DEA actually did it. There's no evidence of that right now. Now, I'm not an idiot in the sense of, do American agencies sometimes get involved in Central Caribbean and Latin America? Yeah, of course. There's no evidence of that at this point in time. I have no interest in convincing anyone one way or the other because all I know right now is there's no evidence of that. They appear to have been masquerading as DEA. That's number one. Number two, Haiti has asked the U.S. government for assistance with the investigation, adding assassins could have escaped over the land border to the Dominican Republic or by sea. That also is worrying many people into saying, this is a pretense to get the U.S. involved. And, no reason to think that that's the case right now. The story is absolutely insane, and the volatility in Haiti expected to continue. Now, going from the Associated Press to the New York Post. So always, New York Post. Okay, take it with a grain of salt. There were a couple details here that I wanted to add. Okay, language. An unidentified group of individuals, some of whom were speaking in Spanish, attacked the private residence of the president of the republic and mortally wounded him. Okay, they speak French and Creole in Haiti. Certainly, Spanish is spoken in the Dominican Republic, which shares the physical island with Haiti. I just don't think we could, everybody's reading into that with a hot take already. This is just very, very early. I don't think we can read anything into that. And then again, going to even less reliable news sources, the U.S. Sun is saying the U.S. could send troops into Haiti. Now, who do they claim to be quoting here? Man, my ad blocker just can do nothing about this. Who is the quote? Professor. Oh, it's a professor. Okay, yeah. So it's just a random professor says it's conceivable that troops will be sent into Haiti. Again, this is why you have to be really careful with this stuff. The Sun went and found some professor willing to say it's possible the U.S. will send troops in. At this point, again, until we actually see that, I don't believe that is the case. And of course, at any time, Haiti could ask for help in some way. So an insane situation in Haiti. The president has been assassinated in his home. Incredible. And there's actually it's sort of a sad history. Well, our super chats seem to be a little bit big here. Let me see if I can shrink that a little. There we go. There's wait, no, that's not where we want to go. Jared Diamond has actually written quite a bit about Haiti and the Dominican Republic. And there's this super racist interpretation of why the DR is so much better off than Haiti. I'm sure you can imagine what it is. Haiti has the black people, whereas the Dominican Republic has Hispanic people and more people of European origin. That's the racist hot take about Haiti and the Dominican Republic. The reality is that due to what was known, I know people are saying that's not my view. Okay, to be very clear. That's the view of some racists. First of all, it's not like the Dominican Republic's doing great, but they are doing significantly better than Haiti. It actually has a lot to do with the geography, and Jared Diamond explains this beautifully in his book Collapse, I believe, is the one where he writes about this. Early and rapid deforestation done on the Haitian side and not on the Dominican side, combined with some significant differences about prevailing winds and weather and elevation and a whole bunch of other things, explain a lot of the difference in circumstances between the Dominican Republic and Haiti. That's a topic for a different day. But no shortage of disgusting racism when it comes to almost anything. In this case, the differences between Haiti and the Dominican Republic. One super chat came in. Do left media profit from things not getting better? Listen, the media in general only is profitable when there is interest in what's taking place in the world. One can argue if it leads, it bleeds, and this type of thing. I mean, no one media outlet really has any say or control over that. So, when there's more things going on, more people watch the news. That's kind of an undeniable reality. Okay, where do we want to go next? Do we want to do Trump suing everybody? Trump did this press conference. It was completely whacked out. We can go through that. Let's see what else is going on. We are looking at this tropical storm Elsa. I don't think it's expected to be that big of a deal, so I don't know. Yeah, expect it to become a tropical depression. I don't know that we really need to do too much weather stuff here, unless we really had sort of like a bona fide emergency situation. A couple of things I do want to mention, though. Number one, YouTube has just rolled out a new feature called subscriber-only chat. Now, this is very different than subscriber-only chat on Twitch. On Twitch, subscriber-only chat means only people who pay can chat. We don't turn that on typically. YouTube subscriber just means you're a free subscriber. You just hit the subscribe button and that's it. We've enabled it. It's not member-only chat. It's subscriber-only chat. There's two reasons. One, we're getting more and more complaints about, it's like follower-only chat on Twitch. We're getting more and more complaints about the toxicity of the chat on YouTube. That's number one. And then number two, I'm actually curious how many of our YouTube viewers aren't subscribers. Because if we're getting a lot of YouTube viewers that are not subscribers, that's an opportunity, okay? So we have subscriber-only chat turned on YouTube. I will report back to you and tell you whether it makes any kind of difference or whatever, okay? Robert Brunswick says via Super Chat, "Hi, David. Love you, brother. Love to all my fellow Packers." Whoa. Ryan says, "If there were a rep who was left-wing but governed like McConnell in terms of procedures and obstruction, would that be impactful or short-lived?" It would be impactful. We actually, on the Friday show, we're actually going to talk a little bit about part of the reason why blowing up the filibuster could backfire on Democrats is Democratic incompetence. I'll have more about that on Friday. The Unintelligence says, "David's the man. 2 in chat if you are packing right now." I don't even know what that means. That could mean a number of different things, and we're not even going to get into that. All right. Before we go on to the next thing, I do want to thank people who have supported so far. Bunch of people dumping in memberships over on Twitch. It is, let's see here, Walida HC has signed up.
Big, massive dumps.
Redbone76 is a new member. Power Laces, Mano Drizzle.
Dumps.
Cosmos 84, as well as Word Fencer.
They call them dumps.
Hug Fetish and Master McCleavy, also Milo Wild, kicking us off at 9 right away. We will open phone lines at 100 today, and you can also use the coupon code Indictment21 to sign up on my website. Okay, let me get to some unban requests before we get to the Trump stuff, which we're going to look at next. I do have the gavel back in action. 3 different unban requests to look at. A user who goes by the name Big Papa Grundle, oh God, showed up and said, "Tanks." Then David Pacman looks like Sam Cedar. Then sent about 20 different emotes. Then just typed Juche Gang about 100 times in a wall of text, and then they were banned. They then requested an unban. "Help, my account got hacked. I can't stop. Juche Gang another 100 times." So that is deny and confirm. That is a permaban. Next user goes by the name the Kid Dungeon Master. That's already, just the username is already probably not so great. They showed up and they said, "Hi, where are you question? Hello, J, B. What the F is wrong with you, Pacman? What the hell is wrong with you, Pacman? David Pacman, F you." They were banned. They submitted an unban request, which just links me to a Twitter profile. That is a permaban. And then lastly, a user named Test and oh boy, who says, "I believe the mark of the beast will happen. Something will happen. I do not understand why you show this and do not agree with nothing." Oh, this was during the Trump rally. "I love Trump. Trump 2024. Trump will win 2024. All back to back in all caps." They were banned. Their unban request is clean democracy. It's borderline, but it is going to be a permaban. All right. So that's that as far from the standpoint of unban requests. Okay, number 2, request for help. If anybody in the audience is really good with OBS and Streamlabs OBS, I could use some help. We've recently gotten some new hardware. I'm really trying to figure out, should I be using software encoding for these streams? Should I be using the NVIDIA encoder? Can I set a different bit rate for streaming versus recording? Because that's sort of like a key thing. If not, should I be using Streamlabs for the streams and regular OBS for recording? What other questions? I need the nerds to rise up and get in touch with me. Just a ton of different things, So it would be really great if anybody is very good with OBS, if you could get in touch with me, info@davidpakman.com. All right. So there is that. Let's get directly into this Trump. Hold. Sorry. I do have some new elements in my soundboard. Let me tell you the new things that I have. I have a couple new Trump things, like, for example, I've got this one.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
I've got that. Someone sent me that. Oh, hold on. What's going on here? There we go. This one.
I'm a very stable genius.
And I think I added one more. No, this one we had.
And then we fell in love. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So I added those. I also got a couple of other Biden ones.
Give me a break.
With all due respect, that's a bunch of malarkey.
That's a bunch of malarkey.
This idea is a bunch of malarkey.
So a couple new Biden elements. We've expanded the Bernie Sanders. We used to only have this.
Yeah, good. Okay.
We've also now added.
I wrote the damn bill.
And I wish it was better quality, but that's not bad.
I wrote the damn bill.
And then one other.
You're wrong.
Okay, so we've got a couple Bernie elements, and then I also now have a Jesse Lee Peterson soundboard.
It's amazing. Beta girl, beta male. You love me? She hung up. Everything you're doing is wrong.
Okay, so we've got those. What I do need right now, though, is if someone can send me Trump doing the bleach injections, and then also convalescent plasma. I need really high quality clean drops of a bunch of the times Trump said convalescent plasma. That would be really useful. So we're continuing to build up the soundboard. Okay, let's get into this Trump event. Donald Trump today announced he is suing class action Twitter and Facebook. Why? Because they banned him and Trump doesn't understand the First Amendment, among other things. And Trump is suing everybody. And let's just go through some of these clips and see what this was all about. It was humiliating.
I'm filing as the lead class representative a major class action lawsuit against the big tech giants, including Facebook, Google, and Twitter.
Whoa, what just happened? That was bizarre. Okay, so Trump suing Facebook, Google, and Twitter. Where was that one? Okay, there it is. All right, so Trump is filing a lawsuit. Okay? Next, Trump clearly not understanding the First Amendment.
The founding fathers...
So if you're suing Twitter and Facebook and you're talking about the founding fathers, it's probably already off the rails.
We're looking very strongly at sinks and showers.
Okay, let's continue.
Described this right in the very First Amendment to our Constitution because they knew that free speech is essential to the prevention of horror.
Hara. That's H-A-H-R-R-A-H. Hara. I think he sort of glitched there, to be perfectly frank. That seemed like he got confused with himself. But this is a very, very strange clip. I think I need to see this one more time.
The founding fathers inscribed this right in the very First Amendment to our Constitution because they knew that free speech is essential to the prevention of horror and to the preservation of our republic.
Oh, man.
And God bless the United States.
So none of this has anything to do with the First Amendment. Okay. The government is not limiting Trump's ability to speak or anything like that. So that's just absurd. Now, this clip, I don't even know that I fully understand. Let's look at it.
You know, a lot of people ask me about Dr. Fauci. I like Dr. Fauci. I actually get along with him great. But they said, why didn't you fire him? I said, no, he was good. He'd recommend something. I do the opposite. And we always turned out to be right.
This is an event about Trump suing, I guess, to get what he misunderstands to be his First Amendment rights back. And somehow he's attacking Fauci. Fox News actually cut away hilariously. Fox went to something about COVID origins, whereas Newsmax stuck with it. It's all really, really weird. The event continued and Trump took questions. This one I don't even get. Like, tell me if you can understand what on earth Trump is talking about in this one.
Just to clarify, who should be the arbiter of what's hate, what's offensive, what should not be published, what goes beyond free speech? And because so much of this, your banning has to do with comments you made around January 6th, just to clarify further, what did you do to stop the insurrection, as some people call it, and why were you not able to stop it?
So that whole event, unfortunate event, just went through Congress and a report was issued and my name wasn't even mentioned. And I appreciate that. I was surprised, frankly, because I assumed that they would have come up with their typically biased, at least on the Democrat side, statement. The report came out, as you saw, 2 weeks ago. My name wasn't even mentioned. That was an unfortunate event. I say, though, however...
Guys, the insurrection was unfortunate. It was unfortunate. That's it.
People are being treated unbelievably unfairly. When you look at people in prison and nothing happens to Antifa, and they burned down cities and killed people.
I should have assumed it was going to end up being about Antifa.
There were no guns in the Capitol. They burned it, except for the gun that shot Ashley Babbitt.
That appears to be a complete and total lie.
And nobody knows who that men were. If that were the opposite way, that man would be all over. He would be the most well-known, and I believe I can say man, because I believe I know exactly who it is.
Trump's desperate, by the way, to out that officer. Big supporter of law enforcement, but desperate to out that officer.
But he would be the most well-known person in this country, in the world. But the person that shot Ashley Babbitt, boom, right through the head, just boom. There was no reason for that.
Trump's mad about police brutality now, so-called.
And why isn't that person being opened up? And why isn't that being...
They got to open them up, do an autopsy. Well, they're alive, but open them up.
They've already written it off. They said that case is closed. If that were the opposite, that case would be going on for years and years, and it would not be pretty. So I just thought this was a very important time. Yeah, please.
So what was the answer? The question was about Trump being banned from Twitter for the things he said on January 6th. And he talked about Antifa. Really, really weird. And then here is Trump with his new mantra.
If you say it long enough, hard enough, often enough.
And wide enough as well.
People will start to believe it. That's what happened with Russia. That's what happened with Ukraine. That's what happened with, well, the worst is when they don't say it. Like the laptop from hell.
Yeah.
They call them dumps.
Yeah. So there it is. Trump suing everyone, I guess. And class action lawsuit. I don't think it's really going to go anywhere, but we will have to wait and see. I do want to say thank you to Big Easy, as well as Weatherman, Nix, Pharos, and Twisted Hawk, all of whom just signed up, as well as Sam the Sleazebag via Twitch, putting us at 14. We will open phone lines today, my friends, if we get to 100 website members and Twitch subs. I would encourage you right now. I may even do, I'll do one Trump drop for each website membership. Sign up at joinpacman.com. Let's open those phone lines. let's keep dumping in audio drops, and you can use the coupon code indictment21 celebrating the 15 felony count indictment against Trump's CFO on our website. It's an amazing and beautiful thing. All right. And we'll thank everybody and hopefully open up some phone lines. Let me go to some of the super chats that are continuing to pour in here. Where did I leave off? Will Trump have to give a deposition in his Facebook Twitter lawsuit? He will be asked about 1/6, so it will never happen. It's a grift for money. Yes, you're almost certainly right. If filibuster stops the voter suppression by the reps, won't it mean that the reps not win again? And thus we don't have to worry that the lack of filibuster will be used against Dems. Help me understand. Help me understand. I don't know what you mean. What currency is that? SGD currency. Singapore dollars. Okay. Yeah, I apologize. I'm not totally understanding the question, but I love it. And I so appreciate your support today. Giving you my $5 instead of donating to Trump's new lawsuit grift. Thanks, Bayphoto. How serious do you think Democrats are taking 22 and 24? Because here in northeastern Pennsylvania, there is no shortage of Trump BS still up. The cult is still very much intact. They seem to have missed linking January 6th to Republicans and letting the gut voting rights. Yeah, I'm actually extraordinarily worried about 24 and 22. I put a segment on yesterday's show about this. And I think if 24 is a rematch of 20, I think it's very bad, actually, for Democrats. Very, very bad. Jacob Ratner asks, Sir,
Mr. President, sir,
is it reasonable to call Trumpism neo-fascism? Yeah, to some degree, in some loose sense. Sure. Ronnie Cortex says, David, you're great and smart guy. Love your show. From Brazil, where we still have a tropical Trump, the stupid Bolsonaro, also known as Bozo. Yeah, I don't envy that at all. Daniel says, is Who Shot Ashley Babbitt the sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit? It may well be. It may well be. Big shout out to Lizzie Haller.
Sir, you're on the cover of Time magazine again.
Lizzie just signed up at joinpacman.com and is new member number 15 today. We will open the phones at 100. Few other super chats. Trump staying in the spotlight will hurt his 24 chances. It will activate the Democratic base. I know that there are people who are emailing me that and insisting on that. Part of why the Democratic base was activated in 2020 is because Trump was president. Trump not being in the Oval Office will mean that a Trump 24 campaign is not going to activate as many Democrats as it did in 2020. Unfortunately, voters have a short memory, and I am very worried about that. I think that's a complacent perspective. Okay. Let's see what else. Please do another event. Oh, hold on. David, please update Assange case. The government case is dissolving. He doesn't deserve to rot in prison. All right. Please do another event with Jesse Lee Peterson. Maybe someday. Donald J. Trump. If Joe wins, you'll never see me again. He lied. Yeah, that was a lie. That was a big lie. Watch the New York Times January 6th video yesterday. Can't help but feel outraged. We must not forget January 6th. We need to show up for midterms. Left is best. Yeah, I'm very worried about lack of enthusiasm in 2022 and 2024. Very, very worried. Okay. Let's see. What do people want next? Do you want me to go through some voicemails, or do you want me to take my artistic preferences test and see if I am correct in believing that avant-garde and contemporary art are my preferred styles? What do people want? Oh, boy. End the stream. Okay. All right. Very good. Let's do it. No, just kidding. I'm here. Okay, yeah, let me do the art thing real quick, and then we'll get. I think that this might be interesting. This is the artistic preferences scale. This is super easy. You just look at paintings and you say which ones you like more. Okay, let's see where I come out on this. Here we go. Which work of art is better? For me, I strongly prefer the one on the left. Very easy. Which work of art is better? I think I prefer the one on the left, but not quite as strongly. Which work of art is better? Slightly the one on the left. Definitely the left. Oh, okay. This is tougher now. This is tougher now. I'm going to go with slightly the one on the right. Definitely the one on the right. Easy. Kind of indifferent here. Neither of these really speaks to me. I'll go with neither. I think I prefer the one on the right. Prefer the right, not strongly so. There's some actually. Which one speaks to me more? Kind of neither. Kind of indifferent here. Also indifferent here. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely the right on this one. Absolutely the right on this one. These are tougher. First of all, they're so different that it's hard to even really compare. So I think I'm going to go with neither. I think I actually prefer the left on this one. Prefer the right. Prefer the right. The one on the left is like the weird type of stuff I like. Yeah, so definitely left. Definitely left. Definitely left. Left, but not so strongly. Definitely left. Prefer the right. The dog I like. I like the inclusion of the dog. I'm going to go with neither. Oh, love the one on the right. That's exactly up my alley. Prefer the right. Definitely right. Right, but not by as much. Left. Right. Oof, this one is tough. Just neither. I guess left slightly. Okay. Did you try your best? And can we store your data? And see how they did that? Did you try your best and can we store the data? Sure, store my data. Do I want to answer 4 to 8 minutes of additional questions? No, I don't. Okay. Abstract and painterly. Stylistic preferences. Abstract, linear versus painterly. Realistic versus abstract. Okay, yeah, I think that this makes sense. Content preferences. I have a slight preference for masculine content. Whoa. There's a lot of people who are not necessarily going to like that.
Beta male.
Yeah, that's going to be a disappointment to some of the people in my circles.
Beta.
Score explanation. Your score for linear versus painterly was 12. You have a strong preference for painterly works where the brush strokes are visible, in contrast with linear works where shapes are bounded by lines and the goal is a photorealistic depiction. Interesting. Your score for realistic versus abstract was 13. You have a strong preference for abstract works. And your score for masculine versus feminine is -4. You have a moderate preference for works of art that depict subjects stereotypically of interest to males, like fighting, machines, ships, and architecture, as opposed to subjects stereotypically associated with females, like women in dresses.
Beta girl.
That is an interesting set of results. All right, so I did it. This is on the website openpsychometrics.org if people are looking for that. Okay, good. So we've gotten that out of the way. I do want to say thank you to Robot Mugabe for signing up via Twitch Prime. Always appreciate that. Also, a massive, massive thank you. I couldn't thank you enough. Pavinder Rana for signing up with the coupon code BETTER21.
Big massive dumps.
And then also Patty Hasselbring signing up with the coupon code BETTER21. Very much appreciate that.
Sir.
All right, number 17 and 18. The coupon code indictment21 is actually my favorite. Okay, use that one, I suggest. Let's look at a couple of other super chats, then we're going to get into voicemails. Let me see where I left off. Thoughts on what happened over the weekend in Massachusetts with the rise of the Moors? Is that the thing with state police? Rise of the Moors. Yeah, we covered that on today's bonus show. It's insane. I didn't even realize that was the name of the group. I thought it was just like sovereign citizen nuttery. It's full analysis on today's bonus show. Imagine if Trump was sentenced to 50 life sentences and 600 years in federal prison by a judge who has an intense hatred for Trump. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. Here, let's listen to the, we've got some analysis here of this bogus Trump lawsuit.
A suit.
In order to
and
win these
speaking of
lawsuits,
suits, nice jacket, my friend.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Breaking out the Obama tan suit for the summertime.
I love it.
In order to win these lawsuits, Donald Trump is basically making the argument that his First Amendment rights have been violated by these tech companies. Now, for those of you familiar with the First Amendment, it says that Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech and the exercise of religion and publishing, et cetera. So ultimately, what he's saying is that these companies are effectively arms of the federal government. He wants the judiciary to basically agree with him that they are arms of the federal government and therefore can be punished for having violated his constitutional rights. The lawyers that I've spoken to today and some of those that I've seen in the public space say this is essentially a ridiculous idea and that the courts will laugh it out. But I do think that we can hear from President Trump, former President Trump himself. I think we got a snippet of him today.
We're demanding an end to the shadow banning, a stop to the silencing, and a stop to the blacklisting, banishing, and canceling that you know so well.
Oh, my God.
Our case will prove this censorship is unlawful, it's unconstitutional, and it's completely un-American.
Stand back and stand by.
And so, Allison, as you hear the president saying those things, he obviously has got an opportunity to try to prove it in court.
Shadow banning.
Most lawyers think that this will be dismissed. He has some sort of, perilous, treacherous things awaiting him if these suits actually go forward.
Yeah.
In terms of depositions that he might have to give, discovery that he might have to do around the January 6th riots and other events that led Twitter and the other platforms to suspend his account.
Can you imagine?
All right, so I have a couple questions here. First, John, why a class action suit and why not go it alone? It would seem to me that if the president were acting just as the president, it might have more power than bringing all these other people in here. Is there a strategy here that I'm missing?
I mean, surprisingly, I think it's the exact opposite in that what he's trying to do is show that these companies are powerful and that he is simply a representative of a larger class of powerless
There you
people.
go.
And that his argument is that these companies are, like I said, effectively an arm of the government acting against the individual citizens. And in order to paint himself...
The anchor seems anxious to move on to the next question.
Action.
So, however he paints it, it sounds like from what you've said, it doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere. But does that even matter? Does this have value to him just for the attention it brings and the attention he gets as he tries to either fundraise, run for office again himself, or just draw some attention to the Republican Party?
It absolutely has value to him. Number one, if you go to the Washington Post website, the Wall Street Journal website, most of the major news websites, this is on there today. This was picked up by most media outlets, whether they're print or television or otherwise. So he gets that, but also he does a fundraising appeal off of this, and he tries to convince others that he is representative of a class of beleaguered conservatives, what he says is a silent majority that's being abused by these tech companies that he says
right. What a poor guy.
Government. Of course, what he doesn't point out is that when Twitter suspended his account in January of 2021, he was still the sitting president of the United States. He was, in fact, the most identifiable and powerful state actor in the world.
Arguably most privileged.
Yeah, sort of separates you a little bit from everybody else in that class action suit. John, I imagine that they are not commenting because it's a legal issue, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask anything from the big three on this yet.
Yeah, our colleague Dylan Byers reached out to both Facebook and Twitter, and both of them were declining to comment. I think you're probably right about the strategy behind that. There's not really a need for them to do that at this point. And anything they say could be potentially in conflict with their legal strategy.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's a class action suit that doesn't look like it's going very far, but it got us John Allen in the first block of our 5 p.m. show in a Barack Obama-style tan suit jacket. And what else says summer besides?
All right. So, yeah, it's going nowhere. It's going absolutely and completely nowhere. Big thank you to Kyle Kludash for signing up on my website with the coupon code Indictment21.
Oh, no, Sam Cedar.
Also want to say thank you to Phil Box as well as Louis Curtin for signing up via Twitch. That is 19, 20, and 21. Let me get to a couple of other super chats, and then we're going to get into the voicemails. You say Biden is in trouble in 24, but you also said it's hard to unseat an incumbent president. Why the change? No change. As a general principle, it's difficult to unseat incumbent presidents. Trump was unseated. As a general principle, it's hard to unseat incumbent presidents, but the particulars of Trump versus 82-year-old Joe Biden or a Kamala Harris with a low approval rating, which is what she's suffering from right now, strikes me as potentially problematic. It's just we've got to think beyond just any one idea. Already clipped the art test and sent to some artist friends. All said they never saw anything like it. Perfect score. Yeah. In fact, I got a text from my doctor who said he has never seen anybody do what I was able to do on that art test. It's really actually pretty shocking stuff. Hey, David, any thoughts on Gwar being on Fox News recently? It was the most watchable, honest Fox News segment I've seen in years. None at all. Is that like a heavy metal band, I think? GWAR. Not super familiar with it. If the filibuster is eliminated, won't the Democrats obviously win more votes? Thus, why do we care that the reps will use it against the Democrats? Yeah, it'll work for the next few months, maybe. And then it could be completely destructive to the country for the following decade, or whenever Republicans take control again. It's a more complicated issue, but we've elaborated on it because it is so important. Have you heard about the Bible study group that the FBI busted? No. I will check it out. FBI Bible study. Let's take a look at oh, this looks insane. Let's see what we've got here. FBI infiltrates group whose members wanted to test homemade bombs, surveil the Capitol, secede from the U.S. The FBI has infiltrated a, quote, Bible study group in Virginia that after the January 6th riot had members discussing surveilling the U.S. Capitol and their wish for secession from the U.S. Investigators closely followed one member's plans to build and test Molotov cocktails, according to unsealed documents. The startling new case, landing 6 months after the pro-Trump insurrection, adds to the more than 500 Capitol riot federal criminal cases already in court, fleshes out what's known about the Justice Department's understanding of the continued interests of right-wing extremists to allegedly interfere with the U.S. government and discuss with each other how to do so. The newly disclosed case against Virginia man Phi Duong, who also goes by Monkey King and Jim, arose after Duong interacted with undercover law enforcement several times on January 6th and into recent months. When the FBI ultimately gained access to his group in Virginia, then accompanied him to an old jail as Duong allegedly pursued bomb building. Oh, my God. Sounds like they've got this guy dead to rights. Law enforcement's undercover interactions with Duong and contacts are laid out in a 14-page statement. Yeah, that's crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if defense lawyers claim entrapment just because that's what they like to do in these situations. But we will follow it and see where it goes. That's crazy, though. That is genuinely nuts. Get a load of Trump's faux Office of the President seal on the podium. Truly pathetic. Yeah, let me see if I can go back to it. Yeah, this is a bizarre, it's the lectern. Remember, the podium, I think, is the entire thing, like the little stage. This is the lectern. You can't fully see it, but it's like a version of the presidential seal. It's everything about it. It just is so pathetic. It's amazing. Okay. One other super chat. It doesn't surprise me Trump is planning a class action suit against big tech and cancellation. He's a power-hungry, sore loser who had the biggest cancellation in 2020 when he was not elected president. Well said. Very much well said. All right, let's get into some voicemails. Again, we're still catching up, getting back from the vacation. There are so many voicemails, and we're just going through them to prove to you that I'm not like picking, I'm not hiding all these really great voicemails from you. Okay, let's listen.
Hey, David, I'm one of the few that still hasn't got vaccinated yet, and just had a little extra incentive today. I went out to get my hair cut, and I walked inside, and I immediately turned around and said, oh, I forgot my mask. I walked out to my car to put it on, and somebody started tapping at the window, and I'm like, well, that can't be, they're not tapping for me, are they? And so I walked back in with my mask on, and the guy almost started screaming at me, telling me, there's no need for a mask nowhere. We don't have any masks in here anymore. So, and I thought to myself, okay, well, I guess I better take it off because, I want to get my hair cut. But, yeah, it's just one more extra incentive for people like me that haven't got vaccinated yet to, go ahead and just get one. Anyway.
Okay.
I love your show.
I don't even know I totally get that, but if you're going to go ahead and get vaccinated, that's a really great thing. Okay.
Hey, David, is it just me, or is there something kind of commie about asking people to stand at attention and recite their pledge of allegiance to our state? Just curious on your thoughts.
I'm against the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah, I find it wacky. All right, let's listen to a couple others.
Oh, hi, David. This is I don't even know if I'm supposed to identify myself in such a situation where I might be played on the show. But, okay, I'll just let you know. I have an unusual first name. That's why I'm hesitant to identify myself, because someone might know me. And
Okay, all right, well, then we'll just get off of it. I mean, I can see that it's a full minute of explaining the name, so we're moving on.
Hey, David. I don't know if you're on your journey. You've reached your destination. It's Friday, 8:49 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't have access to the internet right now. So, I heard you say a few live streams ago, not that long ago, but that you had friends in Miami, friends from Argentina that were coming to get COVID shots, and when the collapse of the 12th floor condominium in Surfside, there happened to be 2 Argentinians that were missing.
Very sad.
I think they adopted a little girl or something. I don't know the story, but I said, every word you mentioned, Miami, Argentina, COVID, and that's one of the reasons they came over.
Okay, let's continue.
So, I thought this was really weird because I think also England enslaved India as well at one point. I'm not sure if I said that or not. But then when the British were talking about the monarchy, they were like, they wanted to defy the monarchy, and they didn't approve of the monarchy because they were like, we don't like being in a tough position. And
you guys jealous out of what I have to do every day? Huh? Okay.
Hello, David. My name is Mark. I'm a supporter. Recently, I heard a caller or somebody made a comment in text to you about mentioned a book called The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein. I think you would find it particularly a good read.
All right. So, yeah, people recommended that book to me.
Oh, yeah. And also, I noticed that England was, like, influencing some of the Israeli people, saying that they should take crazy in order to get...
I see people in the chat saying, I must have handpicked these because they're all wacky in their own way. I'm just going through. We're still on June 25, okay? That was our... On June 26th, I streamed and I played a bunch of these. On July 3rd, I streamed and I played a bunch of these. We're still on the June 25 voicemails. Okay? That was our first day off. We're still on June 25. We're up to June 25 at 9 p.m. That's as far as we've gotten. Okay?
Go to the military, and then they go over to England and they get educated. He wasn't telling me very much. He, like, borderline tried to kidnap me, but I was like, no. But I honestly don't know that much about Jewish people. I just found out recently that they might be involved in the Holocaust.
Oh my God. Okay. Same caller calls back an hour later.
So the very first person that told me that I looked like anybody was an Indian.
Okay. Then they called back a half hour later.
But like Janet Jackson is Muslim.
Okay. So now we're off that. Let's continue.
Hi, David. My name is Neil. I watch you pretty regularly. I do enjoy your content most of the time. I did have a potential discussion about gun violence.
Okay, so this goes a full 3 minutes and gets cut off, and they don't ever really get to the question. I'm seeing transcripts as this goes. I can't do 3 minutes of that, with you guys. Oh God. Okay, this might be the Eggman.
Hi guys, that Steven Crowder guy that wouldn't debate Sam Cedar, David Pakman, that man beats you in life every single day. You know why?
Sam who?
He's having a baby right now. He's making a moronic conservative baby, and you and your educated, liberal, intellectual girlfriend/wife are not making a baby as far as I know. That means that no matter what you do or what he does, he's going to continue his racist, idiotic, bullcrap way of thinking with another child. And
this is finally a strong voicemail.
Yours is going to die with you. Dave, or hopefully maybe your brother will have some kids, but Dave, don't you see the only way to win this is to have children and continue our life legacy? I know you're teaching people on the phone, you're teaching people on the air all over, but the best way is to have a child, because that baby is going to be a little you. Steven Crowder wins the debate in the world against you every day because he's having a baby right now and you're not. That's important. Not 50 babies, Dave, just one. I'm sorry, I know it's too...
All right, okay, so there's the Eggman.
Oh no, Sam Cedar!
Then Troy York called in at 5 a.m.
Hi, this is Jamal Jenkins from University Park, Illinois, and I'm calling in response to your video about Tucker Carlson being the right-wing propaganda, the architect of right-wing propaganda.
Architect.
I just want to say that David Pakman is the architect of left-wing propaganda.
All right, so there's Troy York. Again, guys, I'm giving you guys everything. We're now up to June 26th at 5:47 a.m.
Hey, David, I'm going to do my best to word this correctly, but Donald Trump, is talking a lot about 2022 and his candidates and, how important it is that they win in 2022 and take over the majority. Mm-hmm. Do you think Joe Biden will get involved at any point and say anything to get people out into the polls and stuff? And
yeah, so at least this is a specific question. I believe Joe Biden will get involved in campaigning for 2022. No question whatsoever.
Hi, David. I wanted to ask, when engaging in a conversation as a progressive, I was wondering what topics you think I would have the most luck finding some common ground with as a conservative. when I have conversations with someone of a competing ideology, it's so often focused on the ways in which we disagree. And I have a theory that if I was able to focus the conversation on the topics in which we do agree, we would have much more of a productive conversation.
Yeah, your instinct is good, which is let me work on the thing. Like, for example, even if you think about, I don't know, climate, right? You can start with a conservative, and assuming they're somewhat sane, you would say, hey, listen, are we on the same page about like, you really shouldn't like you should put your trash in a bag and then put the bag in the dumpster. And then that's the way to get rid of the trash instead of driving around throwing it out of the car window. Do we both agree on that? Oh, we do. Okay. Why? And then you use that as a basis to then get closer to a productive conversation about climate change and how it should be dealt with politically. The problem is that when you make the switch from the part of the conversation that is just sort of like people talking to the part that gets recognized as the political hot take part, a wall typically goes up. So I love the idea. I just think it's harder to transition from the stuff we all agree on onto the other stuff. But it's a very interesting idea. It's a very interesting idea. Okay, let's continue with a couple more here. Okay, let's listen.
Hey, David, I think this whole Trump stolen election thing is completely fraudulent. In fact, if anyone's trying to steal the election, it's him. But as a thought experiment, I was wondering, what if we found a sitting president was fraudulently elected, not necessarily Trump, just anybody? What do you think would or should happen?
It's so difficult to answer the question because a president being fraudulently elected can mean so many different things. So it's really hard to even take it seriously. And also, I don't know what people like are. If we determine one person somehow accessed all of the voting systems in every state and changed the outcome, that's very different than if we determine, oh, sir, 20 people voted illegally in one state. It wouldn't even have changed the results. And even if it did, it wouldn't change who got to 270. I mean, these are all very different scenarios. It's a hypothetical that doesn't even really make a ton of sense.
Hey, David, I'm a big fan of the show. I was just curious what your thoughts were on the Copa America Cup, if you're following that. And
that's a Copa America Cup. You're saying cup twice. That's like saying the America's Cup. It's just Copa America. I'm rooting really powerfully for Argentina. Argentina winning in penalty kicks last night against Colombia. Yes, as in Pedro from Colombia. And will face Brazil in the final on Saturday. The Argentinian goalkeeper blocked 3 of 5 Colombian penalty kicks, if you can imagine. And I am rooting for Colombia. I'm rooting for Argentina Saturday against Brazil in the final. It's time. It's time for Argentina to get one, okay? All right, let's listen to just a couple more of these. Okay, just a couple. We're now down to June 26th at 5 p.m. All right, let's listen.
Hi, David. My name is Wayne Moore. I live in Los Angeles. Donald Trump is still using that poem, The Snake, which is written by Oscar Brown Jr. in the 60s for a record of the same title, The Snake. And I'm sure that Oscar Brown Jr. would be rolling over in his grave to know that orange moron is stealing his music. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. No, that's good. I like that. All right, let's see what else we've got.
Hi, yeah. Hey, I'm just trying to sign up as a member here on David Pakman's show, and I love it, and I would love to contact him right now, but it won't let me contact him because I'm not addicted to Twitter, Facebook, or anything like that. It won't give me another way to do it. So I'd hate to have to cancel my subscription because you guys won't let me use old school methods. Sorry. My name is Joe.
Okay, and then they go on to give their full address and phone number. Yeah, listen, if you're signing up because you want to personally talk to me, unfortunately, I would love to do that. Listen, these voicemails are evidence that I would like to have long form conversations with every single person in my audience. It's just exceeding the scope of what I'm able to do. There's only 24 hours in the day. So that's one of the things that, we'll play some voicemails. I'll read some super chats. We'll take some live calls, all these different things. And I'll talk to as many people as I can. Maybe someday we'll do live events again and that type of thing. But unfortunately, if it's a condition of your membership that you need to be able to talk to me, the math of it is not possible. The math of it is not possible. I do apologize. I do apologize. Oh, man, and this guy's pissed. He's calling back again.
Yeah, I tried to contact for him, but DaveDackman.com, and it won't do it. I tell you what, I just signed up for a fucking membership so I could get on tonight.
Yeah, see, this is sad when this happens. I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know how to deal with this. I mean, really, the numbers are what they are. And we get 3,000 to 5,000 comments a day across all platforms. And I mean, listen, we were off for a week. We're only on day 2 of voicemails. It's just not practical. It's just not practical. And I do feel bad about that. I apologize. Okay, let's do just a couple more.
David, I've listened to your commentary on Marjorie Taylor Greene at the Trump rally, and gotta be honest with you, buddy, calling her an idiot and making fun of her anti-intellectualism, like fire the doctors, saying that
What?
she has no moral compass and stuff like that. Here's the thing about it. It's very subjective, and it's the thing about it. It's all very true, and it's about time that we all really just get down to brass tacks and attack these people for who and what they really are.
Okay, you got to get closer to your phone. You just have to. You have to. I've got to be able to hear you. That's just one of the things. If we're going to do a show, I need to be able to hear you. Okay. We're really getting to the end for today. Okay, let's listen to just a couple other people.
Don't you think it's a little weird that there was a new country made that was like German and English, and then as soon as that was made, the Holocaust happened in Germany?
I'm sorry, what was that?
And I met some of them, and they're running from the Church of Scientology, and like adopting people, and then just like getting away with stuff like beating them up, stuff like that. Anyways, I just thought that was weird that like the correlation between when Sweden started and just a bunch of the facts. Look it up. It's all just really kind of, I guess it's circumstantial or whatever.
No, they didn't say when Sweden started. I think they said when freedom started. When freedom started. Whoa. Yeah, we're running out of steam on these. I could do one more by that same caller. It was the next caller.
I was trying to figure out what was going on with Mexico, because they were talking about gringos and stuff like that, and kind of like separating themselves from like the Spanish people. And I'm okay with the Mexicans here. They're pretty much fine with all women that I've met before. Like
this one, there's like a bad connection. I don't understand a word of it.
Oh, and also, COVID's been happening like for years and years before they announced it. It was like originally called SARS, and they came from back to originally came from Germany and Europe. So if anybody wants to call it like a Chinese disease or whatever, it's because it actually evolved in Europe and mutated in Europe. and now is more deadly, as before it was like maybe 0.1 or something % of people would die from the COVID. And now there's like this huge chance that people are going to die from the COVID because it mutated in Europe. So if anybody wants to blame the origins.
All right, guys, we're done for today. Okay, that we're not going to be able to do any more of that. I do want to say thank you to Under the Screen for signing up via Twitch Prime. We did the Trump press conference about suing everybody. We did the assassination of the Haitian president. We're still getting back caught up to speed from the standpoint of the vacation. So that's going to do it for me today. Let's to play us out, as I like to say, Office Akimov, and we'll see everybody again very, very soon. If there is anything that needs to be satirized and remixed, it is Trump talking about massive dumps. And by the way, extra points, if you can sample Trump saying massive dumps and me talking about it in a song, please do it.
Dumps. Big massive dumps. Dumps. Big massive dumps. 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 Big massive dumps. 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 Sure you just dumps. 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 Big massive dumps.
Donald Trump insisted multiple times that it was massive dumps that led him to lose the election, which is just
on another level. On another level. Dumps. 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 Sure you just dumps. 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 Big massive dumps. 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 Sure you just dumps. 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 Big massive dumps.
You turn the faucet on in areas where there's tremendous amounts of water, where the water rushes out to sea because you could never handle it. People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, as opposed to once.
Dumps. 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 Sure you just dumps. 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 Big massive dumps. 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 Dumps.
What is going on here? What is going